have a small cow-calf herd up here, and I decided, well, I wanted to try the Sweet Pro for the cows, which they've only been on it now just about a year. I put them on just last fall, just before about a month before I weaned the calves. The big difference that I noticed was once the weaning of those calves was so much easier than ever before. Number one, they stopped bawling within a day. Mamas may have bawled a little bit longer, but the calves didn't. They took right to put them on a Sweet Pro 16 block. Big thing I noticed was they did not get that kind of hay belly look. They picked up weight very quickly, staying on their hay. Just had a nice, consistent group of calves coming out of there. I kept my cows on Fibermate 18 most of the winter, and being on that Fibermate 18, I've had really good luck with that in terms of consumption rate, where they're not over eating on it, but they're utilizing it, and it's so easy. That's what's, it's like you just put it out and they deal with how much they need, and the size is right, that you're not having to replace it all the time, but it's not so big that I can't handle it. You know, we put it in the bucket of the tractor and bring it down, and that works really good for us. About 4 to 6 weeks before they calved, and I put the mom cows on the dry cow. Had a nice, easy calving time. Did not vaccinate this time for scours, which I normally would. Had very little scours, very little what we call the milk scours, where they just adjusted very nicely. It will be real interesting when I sell this group of calves this year, because we've noticed the calf a little bit bigger, like I said, than we have had in the past. One of my biggest was my cows are range in age from, I have a 15-year-old cow still producing to replacement, yearling heifers, and they're all out there at the same time. I don't have big lush pastures. I have a few paddocks that they eat off of, and then they get to go on the hay fields after we're done producing the hay, and then they're primarily fed hay. So I have cows that are, I guess, 15, 14, 13, all the way down to the yearlings. And big thing I noticed is on that 15-year-old cow, she was one of my first, and 2 years ago, just before I started the Sweet Pro, I was seriously thinking it was time to have to take her to the sale barn and that she was done. She did not look very good at all. Brought in the Sweet Pro, and she put on weight at the end there with her calf still on her, filled back out in the back, and she produced a really nice heifer for me this year at 15. And I have several cows that are 14, and they're still looking good too, and they really, this is kind of a tough time. It's early September. Those calves are getting big. They're got a new calf inside of them, so the stress on the mama can be pretty hard. They seem to be doing good, and I'm getting close here, about another month, and I'm going to wean this set of calves. My last cow to calve this year, she had me kind of worried early on. She looked like she should have calved, and she didn't, and I had the vet out to look at some replacement heifers, and I had him check her. He said, nope, she's just got a big one in there. Well, she didn't calve and didn't calve. I start calving in about April 15th. Most of my cows were done by the end of May. It was now June, and I still didn't have a calf from her. Came out one evening, well, she had twins. So it was more than just a big one. She was producing enough milk and she accepted both calves really well. Just recently, I decided to give her a little bit of help, and I've been in the afternoons, because they're up fairly close so we can get to them. I've been feeding the two little calves a bottle, just regular milk replacer, but I've been adding the Fresh Start to that milk. The one calf started, he was really good about coming up. He was the smaller of the two, and he was drinking, and I couldn't catch the other one right away, so I just said, I'll just feed this one then and give Mama help. Well, he started to put on weight, and he actually was surpassing the size of the other one. He was filling out real nice. He was his frame was starting to broaden. The other calf decided it was time he needed some. So now both of them are getting it, and they've both, within the last, it's been about 2-3 weeks that I've had them on the milk with the Fresh Start, and they both have starting to gain quite well and catching up when I've got two that are, she's feeding two as one cow as opposed to one feeding only one calf, and their size, body size, is doing quite well. And she's still producing milk, so so she's feeding them also. In preparing the bottles for the twins with the replacement milk, I use the product Fresh Start, which is a loose product similar to the Equipride. It has all the vitamins, mineral, and the digestive supplements to get their rumen going, and it's a dry product just like the dry milk. I mix them in a bowl together with warm water and just put it in a bottle that's normally on the market for feeding bottle calves, and it flows through just fine, mixes well, and it's really helped, I think, get them going a little bit better and making them a little stronger. And actually, I noticed after they started drinking more of that, they actually started to eat a little more of the hay also. So I think that their systems were doing well, and it was very simple to mix together. This calf here was out of a first-time heifer. He's a little slighter than some of the older cows, but not much. And he was born in May. Overall, I said, I've just feed efficiency has been much better. They're content. They're quiet, which is nice. They're easy to work when you've got to move. Like when we pulled the calves off, the cows moved really well. We pulled calves off in order to give them their shots and everything, and the cows are just calmer. So I've been very, very happy with it, with both the Sweet Pro products and the Equipride.